Greetings and welcome to the webinar. My name is David Javasin. I am a specialist for comprehensive GC by GC and mass spectrometry at Gulf Bio Group of Companies. Today in this webinar, I'll be covering the comprehensive GC by GC for complex analysis. So before getting into the topic, we'll see a few things about our company profile. So the Gulf Bio Group of Companies incorporated in Dubai, United Arab Emirates in 1999, and then it went on establishing its branches and in 2001 in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain in the name of IMSS. Then it went on to expand towards India in 2007 with the name of Hydrocarbon Solution Limited. Then we opened a Center of Excellence Agilent lab in Dubai in 2012. Then went on opening its branch in 2014 in Southeast Asia and have an office over there in Malaysia. In 2019, we got ISO certified with ISO 9001 2015 certified. In 2020, we went on to the digitally transformed platform. We have a social media platform covering LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. To elaborate more on this, we are not only organization which sell the instrument, instead we are like a solution providers. Covering the Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia, we completely providing value-added solution to all the analytical instrumentation, mainly from Agilent. All our offices are well equipped with to handle the business like sales, service, logistics, and distribution, and so on. Committed to the excellence of all the service which we are providing. We have a well-established lab which is in Dubai, which caters all the analytical support to all the area which I have mentioned earlier. So apart from just selling the instrument, we provide solution on case-to-case basis. We have a strong interaction with customer to understand their requirement, and we provide exact solution to cater their interest. Today, I'll be presenting mainly into the GC by GC gas chromatography, how we get the requirement from customers and how we are providing the solution in case-to-case basis. So to start with, we have a strong interaction with clients to know their requirement well in advance. We have a sales, we have a product specialist who can provide the best configuration to suit their customer requirement. Then we have an analytical testing laboratory, which is in Dubai. Here we do the testing. So how we start this? So we generally have a wheel of interaction. It starts from documentation in the pre-sales. So our account managers and product specialists engage with customer to understand their requirement, what kind of sample they want to analyze, like what kind of qualitative or like a quantitative analysis, what kind of application they are looking for. Everything will be captured and documented very well in advance. Once the requirement is captured, then our product specialist team will create the best configuration that suits the customer needs, will be brought out to the application specialist team. Once it comes to the application team, we verify and we evaluate the application which will be mainly work with that particular configuration. Then once this is done, it will get validated by the customer before making the purchase order. Once the instrument are ready in our Dubai lab for analyzer testing, we used to do set up the application setup. Then we do analysis all the sample which required to be analyzed in the particular method and application. Sometimes customer want to have a hands-on experience before getting the instrument to their facility. There's something called factory acceptance test also will be done. So during the time, customer used to visit our lab and check and verify the instrument performance, and sometimes they undergo some training, first time training in lab. Once everything is done, once we get a clearance from customer, the instrument will be moved to the customer location and our service team will take care after that. So they will do the installation and they will give the basic training to the end user. After that, after sales service contract can be implemented, like maintenance contract will be taken and our service team will be taking complete coverage of that. So from pre-sale all the way to after sale, we have a wheel, we can go in perfect. Today in this webinar, I will be covering this particular content on comprehensive GC by GC. So the content goes like this: why GC by GC, what is GC by GC, how to accomplish GC by GC by using the requirements on the hardware part and software part, and I will be covering few applications. So I keep on saying like GC by GC. So people may be having a question like, what is GC by GC? Like it is a short form of like a gas chromatography multiplied by gas chromatography. So it is basically like two gas chromatography clubbed together in a single GC platform. So here in upcoming slides, we will be seeing what is GC by GC and how we can achieve. So why we need to have the GC by GC? You may be aware of using like one-dimensional gas chromatography in a normal platform, in which you can achieve the separation up to 100 of compounds in a complex mixture. Once the complex mixture becoming more complex, it is very difficult to get the best separation of all the molecules. For example, in the case of like a paraffin, isoparaffin, olefin, naphthalene, and aromatics, which present in the hydrocarbon mixture, for example, up to carbon 12, the number of components are more than hundreds or sometimes up to 1,000. So how to get that kind of separation? So currently, people are using like a detailed hydrocarbon analyzer to get the separation up to 100 to 200 molecule separation from gasoline kind of sample. But if you increase the carbon number to diesel range or above, then the separation is very difficult to achieve. Even if you have the longer runtime with the longer column length, you will be definitely ending up with the co-elution of all the many of the components. So how to achieve this separation? That is where we are introducing the GC by GC into the picture. So how to separate this kind of complex mixture which has more than like hundreds or thousands of molecules in the composition? For example, if you consider a petrochemical mixture which has more than hundreds or thousands, is it easy to separate in a one-dimensional gas chromatography? Exactly, it is very difficult. So for example, similarly, there are something in flavors and fragrance. So people may be very much interested in having a coffee aroma, but many people may not know it is a mixture of hundreds of components to get a best coffee aroma when you are drinking it. So that kind of complex samples is not easy to get it separated by normal gas chromatography. So where we need to have the GC by GC for analyzing all the molecules which present in this kind of complex samples. To give an example, here I have given a table which shows the isomers of different carbon number hydrocarbons. For example, if you consider carbon number 1, the known variable compound is a methane. There is no olefins present in the C1 as well as naphthenes or aromatics present in the C1. When you get into the carbon number 2, there are 3 components present. One is the N-paraffin, that is ethane, and if you go into the olefins, there are ethylene and acetylenes are there. Then if you increase the one more carbon to this carbon chain, then this is the propane, that is the N-paraffin. Then there are like 2 olefins are there. Then there is a 1 naphthalene, that is a cyclopropane. Like that, if you keep increasing the carbon number to the chain, then you are getting into the paraffin, normal paraffin, then there is a isoparaffin, then number of olefins is keep on increasing, and naphthenes also increasing. When it comes to the carbon number 6, then you can see the number of paraffin and isoparaffin reach up to 5, olefin reach up to 21, naphthenes goes up to 2, and then aromatics get into the picture. Like that, if you keep adding a carbon into the hydrocarbon chain, then you'll be ending up having so many number of molecules that create a complexity into the sample matrix. For example, if you want to get a best chromatogram for carbon number 10, currently we can do by using a detailed hydrocarbon analyzer that uses 100-meter column, which can give separation up to 100 or 150 or 200 molecule which present in the sample. Like that, if you increase the carbon number in a higher range, then it is very difficult to get the proper separation. These are all in the gasoline range. When it go to the kerosene range, the carbon number goes up to C15. When you go up to the diesel range, the carbon number goes up to C25 or above. Then there are heavier samples like vacuum gas oil, heavy vacuum gas oil, and so on. So when you keep increasing the carbon number, the complexity of the sample keeps increasing. Then the separation is a very big issue. So how this GC by GC can help you to achieve all the components to be separated? There is something called dimensionality. Dimensionality is present in the mixture of independent chemical properties which require to be specified in compounds of a mixture. For example, you can segregate the components with respect to the boiling point, or you can segregate with respect to the polarity, or you can segregate with respect to the isomers. But in one-dimensional gas chromatographic technique, you can achieve any one of these particular separation. For example, boiling point separation, polarity separation, or isomer separation. For boiling point separation, you may be very well aware that you will be using a non-polar column that will give the separation from C1, C2, C3 and above. If you want to do the polarity separation, that will help you to separate the aromatics, for example, orthopara, metaxylene, and toluenes, and ethyl benzene, and so on. So we need to select the column and we need to achieve that similar separation only, like boiling point separation or polarity separation. We can't achieve both at that time. How is it possible? How we can get this both separation at a time? That is where the gas chromatography multiplied to gas chromatography came into the picture. But how to achieve this is a question that we'll explain in upcoming slides. So when the difficult to separate components get into the picture, it is very difficult to separate only with respect to the boiling point or only with respect to the polarity or vice versa. So we need to accommodate both separation at a time to get most possible separation of this complex sample. Even if we have a longer runtime, still end up being getting the coevolution of these molecules. What is GC by GC? So till now we keep talking about the challenge on this complex sample mixture. So for example, as I have mentioned earlier, there are a number of components present in kerosene, diesel, and gasoline. How to achieve this? For example, here I am just giving an example. It is a mixture of different shape and different structures present in a mixture. For example, if I want to separate this particular mixture in a size wise, we can do one-dimensional separation, or else I can do the separation with respect to the shape. That also can be possible by one-dimensional separation. But how is it possible to do both at the same time, like size and shape together? Is it a possible solution? No. As of now, in one-dimensional chromatography, you can separate with respect to the size or with respect to the shape, but still it is having the coevolution. Here, if you see, there are like a spherical circles are accumulated, but it has various sizes. But if you see in the top, if you separate with respect to the size, various shapes are correlating. Is it possible to do both at a time? That is where the solution comes by gas chromatography. By gas chromatography, we call GC by GC. So here the same complex mixture undergoing the GC by GC separation, you'll be ending up getting shape and size separation at the same time. So this is giving the improved separation of the same mixture. You can see all the shapes are getting separated, whereas in the y-axis all the sizes are getting separated. So how to achieve this kind of separation in a gas chromatographic way? So to give the very basic principle of comprehensive 2D chromatography, here you can see there are like three pictures given, like a normal chromatography, hot cut 2D chromatography, and comprehensive 2D chromatography. In normal chromatography, you are using one phase at a time, like boiling point separation or polarity separation. So when you inject a sample through the inlet, you will be getting a number of compounds, that is called peak capacity of that particular column. When you want to do hot cut 2D chromatography, one bunch of effluent which comes from the primary one-dimensional column will be cut by Dean switching method and allowed to pass through the secondary column that is specific to that component. For example, sulfur components or oxygen component and so on. For example, here I like to give an example, oxygenate D7423 ASTM method, in which the oxygenate molecules such as methanol, ethanol, aldehydes, ketones and ethers present in the gasoline. How we are analyzing only the oxygenate from the hydrocarbon mixture. This is like a back flushing method in which the oxygenate bunch will be taken from the primary separation and allowed to pass through a secondary column, and you will be getting only oxygenate peaks for your qualitative and quantitative identification. How this can be achieved for each and every fraction which comes out of the column? Is it possible? In real life, it is very difficult because we can't capture each effluent which comes from the gas chromatography and allowed to pass through the secondary column or secondary separation. It can be achieved in comprehensive two-dimensional chromatography by something called modulator that I'll explain in upcoming slides. So when we connect two different phase columns, like boiling point column as well as polar column, and connected in series through modulator, you can achieve comprehensive two-dimensional chromatography. So here I'd like to explain with respect to the peak capacity of the individual column. So in this particular case, except normal chromatography, these two hot cut 2D chromatography and comprehensive 2D chromatography are called multidimensional chromatography. Particularly, comprehensive 2D chromatography is called like a GC by GC technique. So how this peak capacity get into the picture and how can we explain to make use of this comprehensive GC? For example, if you have a column, it has the capability to separate up to the 100 components. The peak capacity can be explained as 100. And another column has a peak capacity of 25 in a fast GC mode. If you add these two in a multidimensional gas chromatography like D7423 method, you'll be ending up getting 125 as a peak capacity. But instead, if you connect both the columns in series through modulator, the total capacity can be 100 into 25. That is what we keep calling GC multiplied by GC. That is called GC by GC. That gives the peak capacity of 2500 number. So in that case, if your column has the capability to separate up to 100, can be connected to the modulator, and another column has a peak capacity of 25, you will be ending up getting 2500 as a peak capacity of the total system. So here I would like to give a brief principle of GC by GC, how it works. So I keep talking about modulator that need to be connected in between first column and second column, or like primary column and secondary column. What is modulator and how modulator help you to achieve this comprehensive GC by GC? Just imagine if you can get an equipment which can capture all the effluent from the primary column separation or first column separation and capture and inject into the secondary column. Here basically in GC by GC, each molecule is being injected twice into the gas chromatography. For example, you are doing only one injection, but the effluent collected by the modulator is being injected second time into the secondary column. So you will be getting two kind of separation, for example, boiling point as well as polarity, if you select that kind of column. So here you can use the normal gas chromatographic columns as a primary column as well as secondary column. Basically here the secondary column in general will be shorter in nature to accommodate fast GC technique. So here the modulator converts peak into pulses. You may be knowing in the normal chromatography, you will be getting a peaks, like a Gaussian shape peaks will be the output from the effluent which can be detected by the detector. But here if you see, the peaks are passing through the modulator and you will be ending up getting the pulses. That means it is very narrow and amplified peaks. So here you will be getting very short separation in the secondary column. So here you can use high resolution primary column, the first column, and the short column as a secondary one for the fast separation. Here the output need a dedicated software to interpret the data which we are occurring from this detectors. As well as here there is no special detector required to be used with the comprehensive GC by GC. We can use the normal detector like flame ionization detector, mass spectrometric detector, sulfur chemiluminescent detector, nitrogen chemiluminescent detector, electron capture detector, and so on. So we can use the normal column which is being used in the one-dimensional chromatography, as well as we can use the normal detector which is being used in the one-dimensional gas chromatography. So I keep talking about the modulator and how modulator functions. Basically, it collects the effluent from the primary column and inject to the secondary column. But how this can be achieved? Is there any hardware required for it? Yes, exactly. We need to have a hardware that can collect the effluent and inject to the secondary column. That is what we call modulator. So here two entirely different columns, like I have mentioned earlier, boiling point separating column and polarity separating column can be connected in series via modulator. The modulator tracks the molecule which comes from the primary column and inject into the secondary column. That period, time taken for collecting and releasing into the secondary column, we call as a modulation time or modulation period. It's very important to keep a note on this particular modulation period, because this will be used as your secondary column separation that will be showing up in the image. I will explain in upcoming slides. So there are two kinds of modulation available in market, and we have flow modulator and thermal modulator. In this presentation, we'll be mainly discussing on the flow modulator, which is from Agilent, and I will give a brief idea how the thermal modulator to make you understand which one can be used for your application. So we generally select this flow modulator depend upon the application. Otherwise, if a customer has a very particular to go with flow modulator or thermal modulator, we need to cater their interest also. So here is the flow modulation device. You can see there is a small device which can be incorporated into the GC. It is an integral part which can be fixed in the walls of the GC oven. That is like highlighted by the arrow. Here, for example, if you can zoom that particular picture, you can see there are like three connections in which we can connect column 1 and column 2 and restrictor. For example, here you can see this is a very small device. If you want, I can say it can be like a credit card size, which can be kept inside the GC, and it is completely integrated, and it has a very small footprint and very simple to use. But it will take some time to set up the application by tuning the flow and the vent restrictor and so on. So if you see very carefully here, there are like three columns connected, that is from the flow modulation device. One is going to the monitor FID, or it can go to the vent. There is no need to have a particular detector at that point of contact. And there is an inlet, and column 1 is connected from inlet to the central connection, and the analytical secondary column can be connected from the modulation device going to the detector, analytical detector. So instead of connecting directly to the analytical detector, you can put a splitter and you can connect to various detectors also, like FID and SCD and FID and mass spectrometric detector. Some people even connect sulfur chemiluminescent detector and nitrogen chemiluminescent detector together. So it all depends on customer requirement and their application need. So here I will give a brief explanation how this flow modulator help you to collect the effluent from primary column and inject to the secondary column. It can be a very simple device, but it is very lithographically crafted technique called capillary flow technology, patented by Agilent Technologies. Utilize a very small device. It has like a capillary inside the device that can act as a collection channel, and it can allow to pass the effluent from column 1 to the column 2 by collecting. So here we'll be using two flows, which is coming from the pneumatic pressure control module, or it can be from pulsed switching device. So that will give the required flow to the modulation valve that can operate in on and off mode at periodic time. So when the modulation valve is off, the PCM or PSD give the flow which will be opposite to the column 1 flow, and it will push all the effluent to go through the collection channel. When it reaches its threshold, we need to switch the modulation valve on position. So in that time, the column flow will be reversed from collection channel. It can go and reach the column 2 for further separation. So this modulation time on and off, the time taken between this modulation on off is called modulation period. That can be modified, and it can be adjusted with respect to the application requirement. As well as we may need to have the monitor when to be connected to FID or any other detector to check whether any effluent which is collecting in the collection channel is completely being sent to the column 2 or getting wasted through the monitor vent. So that need to be adjusted during the application setup in the beginning. Once it is done, then there is no requirement to use any detector on the vent part. So we need to adjust the length and size, capillary size of the vent restrictor also to tune this particular application. So in the beginning, it may be a little time consuming, but once the flow and length, everything is adjusted, then there is no need to worry about the application runs. So when the fill mode is there, you can see the arrow from pressure control module, the gas flow is there. When you switch on the modulation valve, then the flow is reversed. So this is how the reverse flow modulation device works, and we can inject each and every fraction comes out from the column 1 being collected and flushed into the column 2 for further separation. So here basically we need to supply hydrogen as a flow gas from pressure control module or PSD to establish a fast GC into the column 2 secondary separation. So we can do this separation within fraction of seconds, not in minutes, but in fraction of seconds, like 2 seconds, 5 seconds, or so on. So within that collection time, it need to be separated previously injected effluent from the collection channel into the column 2. Here I'll just explain how the thermal loop modulator works. So you might be understanding the flow technology, how it works. The similar way, but instead of flow, here we will be freezing and focusing and refocusing this particular effluent by a loop that first stage and second stage connected from the primary column to the secondary column. So when we apply the hot jet and cold jet principle over here, this cold jet can be created by using a liquid nitrogen. The nitrogen gas will be cooled down to minus 190 degree, or we can use the chiller, which can provide up to minus 95 degree centigrade of cooling. So once we apply that cool nitrogen as a cold jet on the two columns, which kept orthogonal to each other, it will freeze all the effluent into the delay loop, allowing only the carrier gas to pass through the primary column to the secondary column. When you apply the hot jet, whatever the frozen effluent inside the delay loop will be flushed down to the secondary column. Then it will act as a fast GC and you will get the separation. It works in the same principle of flow modulator, but here instead of the flow, we are using the hot and cold jet to create the similar effect. But compared to the flow modulator, this is little expensive, laborious job, and we need to be very concise about the safety of using like a liquid nitrogen and so on. So it depends on the customer requirement which modulator to be selected for their application. Here is a visual explanation of this particular modulation work. Here, if you see a bunch of molecule effluent comes from the primary column, it is trapped or focused by the modulator and released into the secondary column. So at the same time, you will be collecting all the signals in the detector. But how we can interpret this particular chromatogram in real life? It is giving so many components in a very short pulses, how to achieve or how to understand this particular chromatogram. Is it easy to see? Even if you have like a number of peaks, it's very difficult to go back and do the calibration and identify the retention time, and we have to label this particular thing in the sample and so on. But how if you have so many number of molecules and give a n number of peaks, is it easy to separate or easy to understand to identify qualitatively and quantitatively? To that, we need to have the GC by GC visualization software that is provided by the third party, and we can utilize to make use of that software to give the best understanding of this chromatogram. For example, every 3 seconds, if you are using as a modulation period, you will be getting a chromatogram. Each chromatogram will be stacked together to get a 3-dimensional plot. So if you have the 3-dimensional surface chart, we can view from the top view angle to get a contour color plot. So this is how the GC by GC output looks like when we visualize through the third-party software. So every time when you inject, you'll be collecting a number of chromatogram that will be stacked one on other to give 3D surface chart or color plot. We can switch between these two to visualize in better way. I have mentioned that we can use the normal column in the GC by GC technique also, but the way how we are selecting the column makes a lot of difference. For example, here I will be explaining the normal phase or like a reverse phase of column selection for the GC by GC technique. For example, you are seeing one GC image in which you are seeing separation has been achieved by using the boiling point column as a first column and polarity column as a second column. So generally we call this as a normal phase separation or conventional phase separation, in which if you use the polarity column as a first column and boiling point as a second column, you'll be getting a reversed chromatogram. For example, if you see the top image, you'll see a bright band on the bottom that comprises of all the paraffin, isoparaffin, olefins. If you see little above on the y-axis, you'll see a group or band of components which is from aromatics. If you go a little above, then you can see 2-ring aromatic, 3-ring aromatic, and so on. But in the bottom trace, where you are using a reverse phase column, you can see N-paraffin, isoparaffins are on the top, where aromatic peaks are coming on the bottom. So how we can select this phase, like a normal or reverse phase column set for the particular application? If a customer has certain way of analyzing, for example, if you want to analyze only the aromatics, or if you want to analyze only certain unknown components, we can go with particular set of columns. So it is like a trial and error, but we have a set of application that can be explained to customer to make them understand, and we can go with normal phase or reverse phase of column separation. So here, as a general, GC by GC has a wide range of application, and still several new applications are coming in journal articles by using a different kind of modulators or different kind of columns and different kind of modulation period and so on. Mainly here I will be explaining 2 or 3 applications in detail, and I'll be happy to assist you in case if you have any further application like food related or flavors and fragrance related, environmental related, geochemistry or forensic or biomedical related application in detail on one-on-one basis. As GC by GC has a different application, but in our region, mainly many people are having this application set up for hydrocarbon analysis. So I would like to explain on the hydrocarbon basis, but if you are interested, we'll be explaining later on one-to-one basis also. So the first example is like a petroleum hydrocarbon analysis on like a grouping base. In traditional method, the total hydrocarbon present in the samples like sand or like sea water and so on, it will be extracted by using certain technique called solvent extraction. The solvent extracted sample will be further used for the SPE fractionalization to get aliphatic and aromatic portion, and both has to be analyzed by normal GC analysis method to get 2 different reporting format. Then it has to be merged together to get the complete composition of this particular sample. Here, not only it is laborious and it is time consuming and cost way, we need to do the SPE separation, that is also expensive, and we need to use a lot of solvent for aliphatic portion separation as well as aromatic portion separation, and it will give like so much tiring work. Instead, why can't we inject this solvent extracted sample directly from the sample into the GC by GC technique? So here is the result. If you inject only the extracted sample from soil or any other matrix, you can get this kind of image. So here you can see there are like stencils or like a template we call on the top of individual components. For example, here all the aliphatic hydrocarbons are present in the bottom, whereas the aromatic components are showing up on the top. So here we can see basically they have used boiling point column as a primary column and polar column as a secondary column. That is how we can get this kind of pattern in hydrocarbon separation. So once we run the standard to understand where my different carbon numbers are present, for example, C12 present somewhere, C14, C18, C20, and so on. So we can label it. Then this template can be implemented directly onto the sample in which similar hydrocarbons are present. For example, here is a sample run and the template from the standard overlaid here. So here it will just give exact result like aliphatic C8 to C10, aromatic C8 to C10, and finally the total aliphatics, total aromatics altogether will give from this particular single image. So is it very easy as well as very less time consuming than that of the traditional way in which the sample is being extracted, being followed by SP, fractionalization, and analyzed 2 times for aliphatics and aromatics separately. So this is very fast analysis, gives very fast semi-quantitative report that can be taken from the area of individual peaks. We can call area or like we can call volume, because like in 3-dimensional format we will be seeing this peaks as a cone. So we consider volume also a part of this analysis. So then there is another interesting application. There are people looking to analyze the age markers in the diesel fuels. For example, if you brew this diesel from the crude oil, it is a fresh one. But if you store it for a longer time and if you do the analysis, you can get some isomer separation from the end paraffin. So in this kind of thing, it is easy to identify and correlate the result based on the C17 and pristine ratio. But is it easy to get the separation in the normal one-dimensional gas chromatography? No, it is not at all possible in normal one-dimensional chromatographic separation. The same way, if you incorporate the GC by GC separation for this particular sample, you can get very clear separation between the C17 and pristine, which is labeled on the GC image, the 2-dimensional image. The inset clearly shows base-to-base separation of these 2 molecules which present in the sample. How this will affect, or like how this will enhance to identify the aging factor, because sometimes these fuels are spilled in the stream. So to identify, the sample can be collected and they can do this analysis to correlate the C17 with pristine. So that will give a rough estimate that how far beyond this oils will happen, so that we can correlate with the ship which crosses that area during that time. From that we can easily identify. The similar analysis can be done for the biomarkers also. In biomarkers, it is geographically tagged. So for example, if a crude or if a fuel comes from certain location, it has certain particular molecule that we call like a biomarker that exists only from that area. So if it being shipped from one location to another location, we can easily track it and we can identify with respect to the biomarker which is present in the crude sample or any kind of fuel also. Nowadays it can be used to tag that particular sample to keep it in a preserved way. Apart from that, as I already mentioned, GC by GC can be connected with the multiple detectors like flame ionization detector with the sulfur chemiluminescence detector, or FID with mass spectrometric detector, ACD with the NCD, and so on. It all depends on the customer requirement. If a customer requirement is mainly to analyze the fuel and to analyze the sulfur component present in the fuel, then this kind of dual detectors like FID and ACD can be configured after the secondary column, and it can be split to 2 channels and it will be going to FID and ACD. This is very interesting and very important to analyze the sulfur containing compound from rest of the hydrocarbon which has a similar boiling point and similar polarity. For example, if you see these two GC images, the top one where the crosshair and the bottom one where the crosshair has the bunch of molecules. In the top, you can see only the sulfur containing component because we are analyzing by using the sulfur chemiluminescence detector. It is sensitive only to the sulfur containing compounds. Whereas in the bottom trace, you can see flame ionization detector this part that give all the peaks from the hydrocarbon. So in the hydrocarbon, also having influence with the sulfur containing compounds. If you run through FID and SID at the same time, you can easily predict the number of sulfur containing compound out of the hydrocarbon, which is showing up in the bottom. So this kind of unique application also can be implemented by using the gas GC by GC techniques. So this all goes from the beginning of pre-sale, in which we clearly understand the customer requirement to give and provide them with the best solution to cater their application. To summarize this comprehensive GC by GC analysis for the complex matrix, I would like to say a few words as a summary. Like it has a better resolution than linear one-dimensional GC, and easily it can give the group type separation like paraffins, isoparaffins, aromatics, naphthenes, one-ring aromatic, two-ring aromatic, and so on. If you connect with the multiple detector, you can even go with a specific molecule identification. And because of conversion from peaks to pulse, it gives the increased signal intensity. So we can easily identify in the trace level identification. And informative peak distribution can be achieved by using the third-party software that will provide you with clear idea where these paraffins or isoparaffins are kind of particular group of compound present in the image. We can easily qualitatively and quantitatively identify these molecules. And it can be easily configured with the multi-detectors like FID, mass spectrometric detector, SCD, NCD, ECD, and so on. Is it easy to analyze specific compound, whereas the total hydrocarbon also at the same time? With this, I conclude this topic, comprehensive GC by GC technique for complex sample analysis. I would like to tell a few words about our customer service support. During this pandemic condition, it's very difficult to visit each customer for a basic troubleshooting or to understand the troubles. So our remote diagnostic support team helps you to identify and troubleshoot the basic things through remote. Even if it is required, a physical visit will be arranged for it. Otherwise, it can be done through remote by using all the technology which is available right now. And we can be available easy to reach through email, like contact us at gulfbioanalytical.com. And there are toll-free numbers available for UAE, Saudi Arabia, and India. And you can browse through our website, gulfbioanalytical.com, in which you can find all the product lines which we are dealing with, like a value-added retailers for the instruments and spares and consumables. There are like a plenty of on-demand webinars are available in various topics like gas chromatography, liquid chromatography, and mass spectrometric, this comprehensive GC, and so on. So you are always welcome to have a look into our website to understand much more about us and our product lines. And we are ISO 9001 2015 certified company to give the best quality for our customers. As well as we have the wide coverage in Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia. We have offices in Saudi, in Riyadh, Dammam, and Jeddah in the name of IMSS. In India, we are in the name of Hydrocarbon Solution Limited in Bangalore and Delhi. And in Abu Dhabi, we have name of Labix, and the parent company in Gulf Bioanalytical company in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and we have perfect analytical measurements in Malaysia, and we have a lab in Qatar, in Doha, Al Majid in Muscat. So we are here to assist you, and we are ready to answer any of your questions from this particular topic end of this webinar. In case if you are really interested to have a one-on-one interaction to know and understand much more on this hardware part and software part, we are ready to address you. We can reach you through the registered email which you have provided during the registration, and we are happy to assist you at any point of time for your analytical needs. Thank you very much for listening this webinar with patience, and have a good day. Bye.